Shalom. All praise, glory, and honor be to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS, better known as Great Millstone, who rule well. Peace and salutations unto the hopefully elect, the Tabernacle of David. And I'm your brother Montezabath, back again with another impromptu video. And this one is going to be going to the comment board. And this individual left a comment off the prophecy update video that I just done, asking what nations would go against the USA and why. And one, it's a very good question because you have a lot of people that are coming into the truth, and a lot of people don't know what's going on. All right, you have a lot of people that are still under the veil, so to speak, that Esau has placed amongst the masses of the people. All right, and the scriptures tells us that the Lord will destroy from this covering cast the veil, right? Which, let's start off with that precept. Let's go to what's that, Isaiah, and I believe the 25th chapter in verse 7. It says, and he will destroy in this mountain, all right, the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. All right, and the mountain represents government. All right, whether it be the word mountain or hills, that anytime you hear in the scriptures dealing with mountains or hills, that symbolizes governments. All right, so at the moment, America, which we know today to be Babylon the Great, all right, it is the reincarnation of the Roman Empire. All right, and straight to the point, to answer your question, all the nations, all right, are going to pretty much jump in and firing their missiles upon Babylon the Great, which is America. So let's just get a few precepts. It doesn't have to be a long video. Let's start in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, one of my favorite chapters. Straight to the point. Now it says here, I'll start at verse 6. It says, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Now, this is not literal by saying get a plane ticket and fly out of America, because it doesn't matter where you go. All right, if you're on the hit list of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, you're going to be destroyed no matter what. It doesn't matter what country you end up to, but this is more so to speaking of from a spiritual sense, right? So for an example, when you come into this truth and you learn the truth about, the Edomites, all right, you learn the truth about Babylon and Great America, what it has done, how the place is polluted, hence why it's called the mother of all harlots and so forth. What you start to do is you start to separate yourself from society. You start to separate yourself from the ways, from the philosophies that America pushes on the masses of the people. So it says, be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of Yahweh's vengeance, and he will render unto her a recompense. Okay, so the Lord, all right, is getting ready to take this place out, man. All right, and if you are an Israelite, if you're part of one of the 12 tribes, all right, if your seed line of your father goes back to one of the 12 tribes, all right, and if you are a part of the elect, okay, it's best that you repent and turn back so that you don't get caught up within that destruction. Verse 7, Babylon, which is America, hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made what? All the earth drunken. And the nations, okay, have drunken of her wine. Therefore the nations are mad. Because prior to the nations, be it that, they sign whatever treaties, or they've taken on the customs, the philosophies of being westernized, all right, by this, by these devils, mainly, Babylon the Great America, which is ran by the Edomites, all right, beginning with your top banking elite families, right? The nations, they are growing mad now because it's now destroyed them. It's made them, be wicked, all right? So now the nations are mad. Case in point, a couple of years ago, China started doing commercials to gain back their men, all right? And now they're training their men to not be effeminate. But when you look at America's commercials, such as drafting for the military, all right, it's pretty much, it's all over the joint. All right. It's confusion. Okay. It says, verse 8, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her? Take balm for her pain, if so she may be healed. This is why you have many Americans, all right, that are, chanting, make Babylon make Babylon great again. All right. But what does it say? Verse 9, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go everyone into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up in the skies. All right. So that answers your question as to why, because her judgment, all right, reacheth up into heaven. So let's continue on. Verse 11, it says, make bright the arrows, which the arrows represents the missiles. Okay. When you take an arrow and you shoot it from the archer, all right, does it return back? No. Same thing. If you shoot a missile from the silo, whatever target that missile is destined to hit is going to hit. It says, gather the shields. The Lord Yahweh hath raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes, for his device is against Babylon to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord, the vengeance of his temple. And another reason why being too is because the bulk of the 12 tribes, all right, they would end up in these last in the latter times, which is what we're currently in now. All right, it was said through the prophecy that we would go to Babylon, and from there we will be delivered. All right. But the elect of Israel will only be delivered from not only from Babylon and Great America, but from the rest of the four corners of the earth, wherever the elect is scattered. Right. So moving on, verse 12, set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon and make the watch strong. Set up watchmen, prepare the ambushes, for Yahweh hath both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon. All right. So this is pretty much the purpose of the Heavenly Father. All right. Let's go from there to Joel, the 3rd chapter. Start at verse 9. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, which represents the other heathen nations. Prepare war, wake up the mighty men, and let all the men of war draw near, and let them come up. Because, see, the Lord is not just going to judge Babylon the Great, which is America, but the Lord is also going to judge the other nations for the controversy of Zion. All right. And we'll get that after this. Verse 10, it says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears, and let the weak say, I am strong. So, giving an example of that, you got these other nations, all right, that at one point in time, they was weak, all right, but now through other big nations such as Russia, China, all right, that have come together, all right, forming the BRICS nations. Now all of a sudden you have all of these smaller nations that are coming under joining the BRICS nation to get away from the petrodollar, to get away from the things that Babylon the Great America has been doing. All right. Because as we read in Jeremiah, the 51st chapter, the nations are mad. OK, so giving an example, you have North Korea. Look what North Korea is doing with that what's that guy named Kim something, whatever his last name is. All right. He's every few months there's something on him showcasing the missiles. He's doing drill exercises, war tactic games and stuff, the list goes on, that's just one of many. All right. Also add India. All right. India is looking to, jump in on that as well. All right. Because they're fed up with America's bullshit, So, yeah, let's go from there to Isaiah, the 47th chapter. Isaiah 47:1, it says, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit in the ground. Now, the dust represents the state of confusion. OK, it says sit on the ground. There is no throne. Why? Because America sits at the top. America, beginning with the top banking elites. All right. Who is of the house of Esau, Edom. All right. They're in rulership right now. And we'll show you. It says there is no throne O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. All right. Now, when you go to Psalms 137, just to prove that the Edomites run Babylon, or at least the daughter of Babylon, which is America. This is Psalms chapter 137 and verse 7. It says, remember, O Yahweh, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, race it, even to the foundation thereof. O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed. You see, because like I said, this is the Lord's purpose, as we read in Jeremiah, the 51st chapter. All right. He's going to destroy Babylon the Great. All right. For all of her iniquities, for her wickedness. Happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast served us. That's why it tells you when you go to Revelation, the 18th chapter, verse 6. All right. Speaking of Babylon the Great, which when you go to the top, it says Babylon is falling. All right. It's talking about America. Verse 6, it says, reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works. In the cup which she hath filled to her double. All right. So the Lord, okay, he's going to give her the ultimate double recompense. Okay. For everything that she's done. Verse 7, how much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her, for she said in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death, mourning, famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord of the Most High who judgeth her. Okay. So like I said, this is the Lord's purpose. All right. So let's build on that. All right, where it talks about she sits as a queen, it's talking about America. Let's go back from there to Isaiah, the 47th chapter. Right. And we'll drop down to verse 5. It says, sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans. All right. And when you think of ancient Babylon, okay, when it talks about the Chaldeans, all right, they were known for their witches and warlocks. All right. And just like today, America has a lot of, warlocks. All right. Gatekeepers in Hollywood, Freemason and everything like that. So, all right. That's why the scripture says there is no new thing under the sun. All right. Whatever happened then is happening now. So that's why it's known as the daughter of the Chaldeans, because it resembles a lot of ancient Babylon. Also, America is known as spiritual Sodom and Egypt, okay, pursuant to Revelation, the 11th chapter. But it goes on to say, verse 6, Salakia, let's read verse 5 again. Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the lady of kingdoms. All right, that's why in Revelation, the 17th chapter, America is known as the mother of all harlots. Okay, verse 6. I was wroth with my people, the children of Israel, beginning with the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. I have polluted my inheritance and given them into thine hand, showing you that what? We are, the bulk of the tribes are situated in the Americas, pursuant to Micah 4 and 10. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke. All right, because when we were taken to the Americas via way of the transatlantic slave trade, all right, Esau showed us no mercy. Okay, verse 7, it says, and thou sayest, I shall be a lady forever. See, same thing we read in Revelation, the 18th chapter. So that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. You see, therefore hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thy heart, I am and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. And that's talking about, losing. When you deal with America's military, they really have not been known to be what's the term I'm looking for? They've never been approached on their land, outside of the American Revolutionary Wars with Britain and France. There's really never been a nation that has come on the doorstep in America's backyard to fight them. So they never known to really lose a major war. All right. So that's why, Babylon the Great, they're puffed up. They're proud. Right. Let's go from there to the book of Obadiah, chapter 1, and straight to the point. Verse 7, it says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. All right. So everybody that, you know, Esau has made a deal with in an alliance. All right. That's where you get the word confederacy from. All right. Making an alliance with, hence, i.e., NATO and the EU. Right. Because you're going to have, you know, as the prophecy says that, you know, the beast shall hate the whore. All right. So you're going to have France. They're going to shoot, you know, their missiles, Great Britain. All right. That's in Jeremiah, the 50th chapter, I believe. All right. Where it talks about your mother shall hate you, roughly paraphrasing. All right. Matter of fact, let's grab that because I don't want to butcher that. Jeremiah 50. Yep. Jeremiah 50 and chapter 50, Salakia, and verse 12. Your mother shall be sore confounded. Okay. Because America comes from Great Britain. It came out of Great Britain, the seventh head. And she that bare you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert. All right. So that's talking about pretty much all of America, man. All right. Even the hindermost of the nations. All right. So going back to Obadiah 1. All right. And verse 7, it says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. And they that eat thy bread, all right, that got in the bed with this whore, you know, and made money, all right, have laid their wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. And that's where you see a lot of these nations, like giving an example, a lot of deals that some of these nations have with America, they dropped out of the deals. All right. Case in point, Saudi Arabia. All right. They stopped using they stopped trading in the petrodollar, and now they've turned to the BRICS currency. All right. Which, correct me if I'm wrong, one of you brothers can put it up on a comment board, but I believe they're going to get they'll be officially part of BRICS come the start of 2024, if I'm not mistaken. All right. So maybe somebody can confirm that on the comment board. But anyway, so yeah, so everything that these devils, in terms of making pacts, treaties and stuff with people, now, you know, everybody is starting to break those alliances up. All right, because it's not working out for them or their nation of people. You know, that's why it says the nations they become mad. You know, so, you know, the Lord, you know, he's going to put the spirit on these nations to rise up and shoot their arrows on her. Right. So let's get going back. There was a point. Let's see here. Yep, this is Jeremiah 51 and 27. It says, set ye up a standard in the land and blow the trumpet among the nations, you see, and prepare the nations against her. Call together against her the kingdoms of Ararat, Mini, and Ashkenaz. All right, appoint a captain against her and cause the horses to come up as the rough caterpillars, and prepare against her the nations with the kings of the Medes, the captains thereof, and all the rulers thereof, and all the land of his dominion. Right, because that goes back to Ezekiel, the 38th chapter, dealing with Gog and Magog, which is Russia, and Russia being a guard to these other nations that's going to join under Russia. Hence why you have, like, you know, the BRICS nation. All right. Russia is making alliances with these other nations. All right. Pursuant to biblical prophecy, man. So to end it on there, let's get Revelation, the 17th chapter. And verse 16, straight to the point, it says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, all right, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. All right. So, because remember, we read in Obadiah that all the men that were at confederacy with thee, all right, have brought thee to the border. So This is going into NATO and the EU. So you're going to have certain of the NATO nations, they're going to turn their backs as well on Babylon the Great, which is America. All right, because hey, this is biblical prophecy, So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. And hopefully that answers your question. I didn't want to go too deep into it. I just wanted to, get a few basic precepts, so that you can get the overall picture. But hopefully you got a better understanding as to, what's about to go down. So with that, all praise, glory, and honor be to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors once again to the apostles and elders of GMS, better known as Great Millstone, who rule well. Peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect. Shalom.